Hello everyone, it's WarnogGamer4 here, back again with another challenge run video. And for this run, it's gonna be pistols only, or more specifically, handguns. So the only damage I can inflict is from handguns, and from melee occasionally. I'm also gonna be simulating a new save file, so my OS tuning has been reset to nothing. And one last thing, I'm gonna be using my fists in the beginning, and I'm gonna be using them until I get my first set of handguns, which is actually very early. So there's kinda no reason for me to go fists only at the start, but I don't know why, I just felt like it. But anyways, that's enough intro, it's time to start. So to start off the run, I go full melee mode until I get a set of pistols. And after clearing mission 2, which is destroying these artillery installations, I get my first set of handguns, which are the HG003. And for now I'm going to be rocking these guys until I get a new set of pistols and can do the arena. For now they're not bad because I'm still early in the game, but the sooner I get the weapons bay upgrade and more sets of handguns, the better. But for now is these two little guys. And fortunately for me, they pack quite a punch. It even made quick work of the giant eye on top of the mining strider. And with that mission done, I could do a training mission, which is intermediate support 2. Good thing this training mission gives me a handgun to use, which is the same one I'm gonna unlock after I beat this. After finishing up the training mission, I now have access to the laser pistols, but I still need access to the arena, and in order to do that, I need to do Operation Wall Climber. The first part of this mission was pretty easy to take care of. I just had to destroy 2 turrets, and the singular tetrapod MT that's guarding the wall. And when those objectives destroyed, it's now time to destroy the Juggernaut. And all I have right now is a singular set of pistols and a dream. The good thing about these pistols is that they do a good amount of impact damage on the enemy. And because of this, it's actually pretty easy to stagger the Juggernaut boss. The only thing I really had to worry about in this fight is ammo conservation. Good thing Rusty makes for an effective distraction. It allows me to easily get behind the boss. Even though Rusty left around the midpoint of the fight continued with not much of a hassle, as the boss for some reason didn't really try to be mobile at all. In my other runs it'd usually run away from me, but for a majority of this one, it just decided to stay there and just shit out a bunch of mines. And after a little bit more back and forth, the Juggernaut is defeated and the wall has been conquered. This fight lasted about 3 minutes and 35 seconds, and I didn't even have to retry once. With Operation Wall Climber a success, it's time to do the arena. And at this point of the game, I only have access to rank F. So the arena fights were pretty calm. With the 6 OST chips acquired from those matches, I got the weapons bay upgrade in my OS tuning, so I can finally bring in the laser pistols into missions. And I also upgraded the direct hit modifier for more damage while the enemy is staggered. Now it's time to scan a few things for the next mission. And in the mission after that, I have to deal with a bunch of annoying invisible guys. They didn't give me much problems, but their tactic of running away from me is really annoying. It also doesn't help that in the final part of this mission, there's a melee guy with shields to deal with. But once that barrier is gone, it's pretty easy to take them out. With the invisible guys completed, it's now time to attack the watch point for the chapter conclusion. And for the first part, I just had to deal with a bunch of fodder. The laser handguns actually do quick work on these guys. And now for the part after, I have to fight Sulia in an AC versus AC battle. For some odd reason, his AI was a bit wonky in this fight. He was being a lot more passive than he usually is. But I can't really complain here, as it was pretty easy to take him down. With Sulia defeated, it's now time to shoot this doohickey here. Then I get enveloped by red Kool-Aid and get a waifu. And after that shenanigans, it's time to fight the Balteus. My pistols are very good at a short range, but are very bad in medium and long range. And because of this, most of the fight consisted of me trying to catch up to the Balteus as it tries to run away from me at times. But when I do catch up, these pistols are really good at doing damage. And when one pair of pistols have to reload, I just quickly switch off to the other. And that's pretty much a majority of what happened in phase 1. For the second phase, honestly, not much changes. Except I do get hit by some powerful missiles at times. But that's mostly my fault. But I do want to be careful about the melee attacks. Getting hit by a flaming melee swipe is not fun. And if I'm not careful, it could be run ending. And after dealing with the shield one last time, the Balteus goes down. This fight lasted about 4 minutes and 6 seconds. And I suffered 0 deaths. With chapter 1 down, it's now time for chapter 2. Which means I have to take down poor Mr. Invincible Rummy here. Then I just caused havoc around the RAD facility, using their own traps against them. And now it's time to fight the Smart Cleaner. With the 4 handguns equipped to my mech, it was very easy to stagger the boss. The damage was alright as well, but that's as long as the debris doesn't get in the way of my shots. But yeah, with the constant amount of pressure I was dealing, it was very easy to take down the Smart Cleaner this time around. The battle against the Smart Cleaner took about 1 minute and 51 seconds, and it was done in my first attempt. For the next mission, I just gotta shoot a bunch of mechs for Carla. And for the mission after that, I just gotta avoid a giant space laser. Then do a bit of enemy cleanup. Then fight the giant monstrosity that is the sea spider. And as long as I keep myself moving in the first phase, I'll do just fine. But I gotta make sure that I keep up with the giant sea spider, as the big laser is no joke and can just end my attempt. But as long as I don't get staggered, but the boss does, I'm fine. As I reach phase 2, I stop blasting him altogether for a bit, as the phase transition gives the boss a lot of defense, so there's no point in shooting at it. And now that he's in the air, I feel like it's much easier to stagger it. Not only that, but it feels like it stays staggered for a longer amount of time. And that means more opportunity for me to do critical damage at it. But I do have to be careful about its spread shot attack, as it can deal a large amount of damage. And after using my laser pistols to deal the final blows, the fight lasted about 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and I had 2 failed attempts. With the sea spider defeated, I yeet myself across the ocean, and now it's time to start chapter 3, which for its first mission it makes me scan a few things. Then deal with the PCA forces that decide to show up on Rubicon. Now moving on with the story, the next mission is a not so stealthy stealth mission, in which I had to find and assassinate Wyverns. And after getting him to low amount of health, I accept his surrender, then betray that trust and eliminate him in one shot. Now next up, I gotta go inside of a cave, shoot a not so protected reactor thing, then just get the hell out of there. A very easy and straightforward mission. Now for the next one, I shoot a bunch of fuel storage for some extra money, then destroy the core of the energy refinery plant, then deal with the PCA Special Forces, which unfortunately destroyed me in my first attempt. But then in the next attempt, I had the upper hand. In this fight, I went after the melee guy as he's the most dangerous one to fight against. But surprisingly, in this attempt, he didn't try to melee me very much. He instead just tried to shoot me, and that gave me the opportunity to just quickly end him. Next up is the purple laser shooting bastard that just loves to jump around. But fortunately, he decided to get himself stuck in a corner, which gave me the opportunity to just end him. With the refinery plant mission done, it's time to scan a few things in this fog-filled city. And after eliminating a few annoying snipers, it's time for me to fight the heavy-duty helicopter boss. It wasn't that hard, but he quickly got me to low health. And because of this, I decided to play a bit more conservatively and use the cover around the map to avoid damage. Fortunately, this time around, it decided not to go out of bounds, making it much easier to shoot down. But eventually I was able to take down the helicopter with a little less than 600 health. Next up, I just need to protect a bunch of missiles, which was pretty easy. And for the next mission, I decided to fight the Cataphract boss. This mobile tank guy was very easy to stagger. The problem though is that he can easily stagger me back. I felt like I was getting bullied in this fight. Its laser spread shot is incredibly dangerous. But other than that, it's a pretty easy boss to take down. But first I need to catch up to it because it's very slippery. But after taking a few more hits from the laser and staggering it one more time, the Cataphract goes down in about 2 minutes and 28 seconds, and I retried 0 times. Now for the up next mission, it's time to attack the old spaceport, meaning I have to take care of stationary warships, a few snipers that don't pay attention to their surroundings, and 2 active warships. But once that is done, it's time to deal with 2 PCA heavy hitters again. But I'm not doing this alone, as Rusty's here to help me. And because Rusty's dealing with the fast and annoying one, I'm left with the job of dealing with the heavy hitting melee one. It tried to hit me quite a few times with its melee strikes, but most of the time I would just fly over it so it'd miss. But once the big guy is defeated, it's time to fight the other one. And I must say that Rusty actually did a good number on him. And because of that, it was very easy to take down the fast LC. And the second time's the charm, as the first attempt I almost beat him. With the 2 PCA officers defeated, it's now time to get introduced to the Ice Worm. Now it's time for me to scan a few things for data. And then fight the original license owner of Raven. Honestly, the fight just felt like any AC versus AC battle. It was just a whole lot of me moving to my left and spamming my handguns. But I did fail in the first attempt though. But in the second attempt, I was absolutely murking the original Raven. And with the laser pistols, I closed the fight out. The original Raven is defeated. And now it's time to go hunt down Honest Brute. Meaning that I gotta avoid all his traps that he placed in the way. And in the fight against Brute himself, my pistols just absolutely melted him. Also, his flamethrower is just tickling me most of the fight. And with Honest Brute defeated, it's time for me to start doing the arena again. And because I already finished the rank F, I need to go from rank E all the way to the final rank B. And because the pistols are actually very good in AC versus AC battles, I made quick work of most of the arena challengers. And with Honest Brute defeated again, I now have access to more OST chips to work with. And I placed most of them on damage and defense. And also one on boost kicking. And now with these new upgrades, it's time to fight the Ice Worm. And I am not going to be using the stun needle launcher. Without that shoulder weapon, the fight honestly is just long and tedious. I just need to land my shots onto its head, just so I can slowly whittle down its shields. Honestly, most of the fight was just me trying not to get caught off guard from the worm's attacks. But once the shields go down, it's time to do some major damage. Great, now I need to repeat this process 2 more times. Good thing nothing really changes in the first 2/3 of the fight. But in the last third, the shield is much more stronger, and now the Ice Worm deals more damage and has more attacks to avoid. Honestly, doing it without the stun needle launcher, it just turns into a game of patience. And with the final bit of the shield destroyed, it's now time for the damage step. You know, in this part I was a bit worried, as I didn't think I would deal a good amount of damage against the worm. But the laser pistols actually proved to me otherwise. And with this final damage phase, the Ice Worm is defeated. The fight lasted about 18 minutes and 40 seconds. And fortunately for me, that was the first attempt as well. With that boss defeated, I've now reached chapter 4. And not only that, but I swapped my big iron to a bigger iron. Look at that long ass handgun. And also I do another training mission to gain access to a new FCS chip to use. I know I could have just wasted my ammo on the wall in order to go full melee mode, but I've just felt like vibe checking all these training MT mechs. And with that training mission complete, I get the AB bot FCS, which is pretty good for close range. And I also swap out my boosters to the Flu Gel for a good increase in upward thrust. And with my new weapons in hand, I swap a bit of my OS tuning. And now in my next mission, I make my way down the giant elevator, of course dealing with the enemies in between. And after falling my final drop here, I make quick work of the boss that was just shooting lasers and missiles at me. And after the mission was complete, I realized I did not equip my second pair of pistols, which are the Shampoo Burst handguns. And after a long and awkward elevator ride in the next mission, I make some quick work of Iguayasu, who decides to stand in my way. And now moving forward, I just pretty much ignore everything that tries to kill me. Replenish my supplies. And now it's time to fight the Enforcer. And unfortunately in the first attempt I got easily obliterated. And even though I got hit by a cheap shot at the beginning, the fight wasn't actually that bad. These new pistols that I've equipped deal a good amount of impact on whatever enemy I shoot at. The 04 handguns might shoot a bit slower, but they deal more damage and have a higher impact stats. And the burst pistols are just burst pistols. They shoot very fast and deal good impact, but unfortunately it suffers from a low amount of ammo in the magazine. But as long as I land my shots, it's pretty easy to stagger the boss. And one last thing, as long as I stayed in the air, the Enforcer had a difficult time hitting me. It took a bit, but the boss went down with the use of the burst pistols. The fight lasted about 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and I only suffered one death. Now in the next story mission, I gotta turn off a laser grid, which means I gotta go inside the device to destroy a bunch of security, then destroy the objective, which is the pressure chamber, then destroy the last defense of the location, which is the Moonlight AC, then lastly get the hell out of there and I complete the mission. And now for the next decision mission, I decide to attack the Red Guns, which was just mostly destroying a bunch of MTs and the occasional tetrapod. And once Michigan pops up, I focus my efforts in destroying the remaining MTs first. I do this because their cannon attack easily staggers me. And once nearly all the MTs are destroyed, I fight Michigan for a bit. But before I finish Michigan off, I first destroy the last tetrapod MT. And with the final backup destroyed, it's now time to easily finish off Michigan. And now in the next mission, it's time to fight Rusty.
Hate to say it, but alive.
Now Rusty is pretty fast, but he can never outrun the bullet.
You never change. You're not afraid to die or to kill.
For most of the fight, Rusty would just get himself cornered, which allowed me to damage him very frequently. And after that little battle with Rusty, he goes down. And now it's time to do the next mission where I gotta investigate the hidden city. But first I gotta deal with some corporate ACs. They love to hide behind their shield, but they're pretty easy to take down. Afterwards, I made my way to the resupply location and survived by the skin of my teeth. And now it's time to fight the next boss, which is the Ibis Cell 240. Cell 240 is fast, hits hard, and loves to stay around long to medium range. And because of that, I kept close to the boss as possible in order to ensure staggering. But that's easier said than done because of all the lasers that's being shot at me. whenever I get it into a vulnerable state, I just absolutely unload on it.
Can't take much more of this.
First phase took a bit of time, but fortunately it went pretty swell. And now it's time for the second phase where everything hits harder. And now there's a whole lot of red going around the entire screen. In this phase, the strategy did not change much. Aside from the neo-attacks that I have to avoid, I always try to get as close to it as possible. I can't have these pistol bullets just reflect off the enemy now, can I? And after one last ditch effort to try to destroy me, I just burst down cell 240 and the fight is over. The battle lasted about 3 minutes and 35 seconds, and I also did it in my first attempt. It really shows that I'm improving in this game. Now it's time for me to get captured for plot's sake. And now I'm forced into the jailbreak AC. And because of this, I just avoid conflict as much as I can. And in the final part, I will usually let Carla deal with the targets. But this time I got pretty bored and decided to ram myself into the enemies. And with the jailbreak mission over, it's time to defend 2 towers from some corporate terrorists that have highly weaponized mechs. And next up, it's time to decide which type of ending I want to choose. And this time around, it's the good ending. So it's time to eliminate Cinder Carla. And after taking a pot shot at Snail and then just ignoring him, I fight Cinder Carla along with Chatty. Now Carla here is just missile spam galore, holy moly. But luckily after her volley of missiles, she's actually pretty vulnerable. So I used that as an opportunity to absolutely melt her. And now next up, it's time to deal with Chatty. And he absolutely loves to race around the arena like it's Mario Kart balloon battle mode.
Yes, I can't do everything.
But unfortunately for him, that makes it pretty easy to hit him. And because of this, I make quick work of him. And now in the next mission, I gotta destroy a bunch of generators. And instead of dealing with the laser sniper outside, I can take the path in the back in order to safely reach the second generator. And once 2 of the objectives are destroyed, it's now time to fight the smart cleaner again. But this time I take it down pretty fast as Rusty's here to help me. And with the smart cleaner eliminated, it's now time to destroy the rest of the generators. Replenish my supplies. And now it's time to deal with the boss of this mission, which is V2 Snail inside of a Balteus. And unfortunately for me, the prick hits pretty hard. If it isn't a giant fuck you laser cannon that destroys me, it's the annoying purple electricity that he shoots out. Now in this fight, dealing with the shield isn't much of a problem, but dealing with the increased health and the lower amount of time to damage it is quite the hassle. He also loves to keep away from me like the normal Balteus. I also don't like that he can get some pretty cheap shots on me, even though some of them are my fault. But now that I'm here in the second phase, I gotta keep my cool and keep dodging correctly. While also timing my staggers for maximum damage. And after he tried to burst me down with his blue lasers of doom, I destroyed his shields for the last time. Then I stagger him with my little bursty boys. Then I end the fight with my big and long irons. The battle lasted about 3 minutes and 23 seconds, and I had to retry 5 times.
Finally. Finally dead.
But now that that boss fight is over, I glitch around with the corpse of Snail. And now it's time for the last mission of the gun ending, which is to bring down the Xylem. This mission's first objective is really easy. But the second objective, not so much, as I need to fight Walter now. And any small mistake would usually end up with me getting deleted. It's not fun getting staggered and then get sent to another dimension. Now the fight against Walter is just an AC versus AC battle. So aside from the intimidating getup and weapons that he has, my handguns were very effective against him. I was able to stagger him quite frequently because of this.
Raven, we're re-entering Rubicon's avenue.
And after one last stagger, I just end Walter there. The fight lasted about 1 minute and 55 seconds, and I ended up dying 2 times. And with Walter defeated, I technically finished the challenge run already. But I'm not gonna stop there, as I have 2 other final bosses to defeat. But before the next challenge, I swap up my combo a bit. And now it's time to fight the boss for the bad ending, Ayre. At least compared to Walter, I had a much easier time fighting Ayre. After fighting her all that time in my previous challenge run of using the OG build, I was able to read her movements and dodge accordingly. So most of phase 1 consisted of me trying to destroy her shield at the right time to deal the most amount of damage. And it's pretty much just rinse and repeat after that. When she reaches about 1/3 of her health, she gets some new tricks, but it's nothing I can't manage. And once her health bar is half gone, it's now time to enter phase 2 of the fight. In this phase, she hits pretty hard and can now make clones of herself. She can also turn into a damn jet and just laser me right after. But the good thing about this phase is that she no longer has that coral shield on her. And that means I can just stagger her to my heart's content.
My brothers and sisters.
She might have brought me down to low health, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna give up just yet. And after being at death's door at the final 1/3 part of the fight, she goes down with some laser pistol shots to the face. This fight lasted about 3 minutes and 8 seconds, and I only had to retry 1 time. And with Ayre defeated, I get the bad ending and try to escape the Kool-Aid disaster that I caused. And now I swap my pistol combo to the double normal handguns. And now it's time to do the final boss for the true ending, which is ALLMIND.
Well, well. I've been waiting for this freelancer.
It took a little bit to get used to fighting ALLMIND again. But fortunately, it's nowhere as near as bad as my previous challenge run. For the first phase of the fight, I just decided to make quick work of the mini ACs that help ALLMIND.
They're dead.
And once those little guys are gone, I just now start to bully AC ALLMIND. Even with the shield up, I was very easily able to stagger ALLMIND.
Freelancer.
Raven.
And once AC ALLMIND is defeated, it's now time for the true ALLMIND fight.
Raven.
Ayre actually helped me quite a lot in this part of the fight, which is honestly surprising because she would usually just go for the sea spiders rather than the main boss.
This is your chance, Iguazu.
It's out of my head.
Iguazu. You are one with
And with the absolutely deadly combination me and Ayre inflicted on ALLMIND, we quickly bring down its health, and now it's time for phase 3, which is a 1v1 against all Iguayasu. And luckily, because of all the suffering of my previous challenge run, I am very well prepared for this phase of the fight. I'm not going to edit much of this part of the fight, so just enjoy the rest of it.
They're gone. They're ringing. Those stupid voices. It's all clear now. I feel good. Now, it's just you and me.
Raven, now's your chance.
Iguazu, dispose.
Left-hand ammunition at 50%. Right-hand ammunition.
It was always so easy for you. The old Jen who could do it all. What makes you special?
You were a mistake, Iguazu. Irregular.
AP at 50%.
And after that last close call, the final boss is defeated. The fight lasted about 4 minutes and 37 seconds, and I only ended up dying 2 times.
Let's go.
And there you have it, folks. I have beaten Armor Core 6 with only pistols, or more specifically, only handguns. It was quite a fun challenge run for me to try out. It was also a nice little fun run to do after my previous challenge run. It was also fun enough for me to recommend for you to try it if you want. Also, thanks for the suggested runs that you guys have been sending me. I've been keeping them filed up for future challenge runs. And also, if you have any new suggestions, feel free to put it down in the comments below. But anyways, this has been Worn-Eyed Gamer 4, and make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell notification for alerts when I post a new video. And thanks for watching this video, and any of my previous videos if you have as well. Later.